Hello, all you RV rock stars. It's me, and Amanda. I thought I would do a little bit of a summary for you because we went pretty quickly on the day. So I hope you all got your Joy Buddies phone numbers before you left, and you made the conscious decision to actually connect and stay connected with your Joy Buddies so you can run through a whole lot of this stuff on a regular basis. And keep reminding yourself of how important you are and giving yourselves permission to take care of yourselves. So to just kind of summarize, we talked about how everything in life is about feelings and everything in business is about feelings too. And that our feelings come from the stories that we told ourselves that became beliefs that now run our lives. So you are not your story, but your story is running your life. And the secret to changing your story is, first of all, to recognize it. And I didn't get time to go through this with you. So here's the kind of challenge with the stories we're telling ourselves and how to change them. So first of all, work out what story it was that you told yourself. So what story? And remember, the three of them were, I am not worth loving, or I am not good enough. And remember, you are absolutely worth loving and you are absolutely good enough. Doesn't mean we can't grow, but you are absolutely worth loving. The second core fear is I'm unsafe in some way. And the third is a fear of being separate, not belonging, not fitting in. So work out which one of those, whether you got one, two, or the trifecta like me, you have. And then you want to work out, when did it start? And you don't have to dive into, years and years of therapy to do this. Once somebody says to you, well, when do you think that story started, where you started telling yourself that you weren't good enough or you weren't worth loving, it's astonishing how many people, they'll go, well, I don't know. Oh, and then they think of some event when they were a kid. And here's the kicker, the third part. We didn't get time to do this, so I'm glad I'm doing it now. It was who benefited from you telling yourself the story. And generally speaking, it's not you. We kind of do benefit because we learn lessons along through our lives as a result of us telling ourselves the story. But as a rule, it doesn't make life a whole lot easier. And for me, in fact, my mum was the one who benefited because I was Miss Perfect Goody Two-Shoes, wasn't I? I was the ideal child. I was never a rebellious teenager, and I looked after her until she died. So it's really, once you get to that part, you can start to look at why you're so locked into the story and you can begin to change it. So the key to changing your story and thinking was to become, once you recognize that, an observer of your thinking. Because remember, 95 to 90, how much? 9% of the time, we're literally unconscious of what it is that we're thinking. And so if we wake up and we become aware of a feeling like, I don't feel so good, I don't know, I feel crappy, oh, nothing seems to be working. Stop, remember, stop it. Stop and look, go inside, use your AI skills and work out, what story am I telling myself right now? Because that story is the one that's going to be making you feel other than fabulous, other than joyful. And then you can choose consciously to change the story, to remind yourself that you actually are worth loving and you are good enough, and give yourself permission to rest or to do something for yourself or to take care of yourself in some way. So observing your thinking is really important, because remember, the most important thing in life was how you felt about yourself. Without exception, most important thing. So start to look for ways where you give yourself permission to do things that help you feel better about yourself. Sometimes it's removing yourself from some people, isn't it? But anyway, more of that later. What else did we talk about? We talked about heart set and the difference between thinking and knowing. Because very often thinking is attached to fear in some way. And when you make a choice out of fear, when you make a decision out of fear, and you act out of fear, it always comes back to bite you on the butt. So and it's sneaky too. So be really aware of when fear comes in. And then we talked about sparkly bits. I've packed them away. I'm sorry, I haven't got them with me. But remember your non-verbals. Whatever it is you're saying to yourself inside your head, it's emanating out of your body. So it's really important at that time as well to be conscious and observe what it is you're saying to yourself about other people, not just about yourself, because the other people are going to know it. And that's where the judgment and all those other kind of, we got icky relationship feelings come in. So, and then I talked about emotional intelligence, which is know yourself, know the fears, manage yourself, and then manage relationships. And you get to manage relationships far better if you think about your sparkly bits and you are aware of the state that you're in. And that was where the 3 S's came in. Remember? Even I couldn't remember the third S. So the first was stop it. So stop telling yourself that story. Stop saying things about yourself that are derogatory. Stop labeling yourself. I am anxious, I am depressed. No, if you say that, you're programming it in. So you can say, I have a tendency to feel anxious or depressed in certain situations, because that's a much more truthful statement anyway. You don't live life perpetually anxious and depressed, because there are always little teeny moments of not anxiousness and not depressedness. So be really specific with your language. I have a tendency to blah, 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 rather than I am. And then you own it and you're telling your subconscious mind what to be. So the second S was, why do I have such trouble with these S's? It was to, be still. That's right. It was to be still and breathe. Because whenever you get stressed, the first thing that happens is that we stop breathing. And we don't stop altogether because we die, but you breathe very high and shallow. So if you stop, take 2 huge breaths in and out. The out breath's really important too. Whilst you're being still, that will calm your whole nervous system down. Oh, and I just thought of something too. This is the most brilliant technique if you are feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or anxious. It's amazing. I call it face planting. So one of my mentors, David Martin, was running a course called the 12 Senses, which is an amazing course. And he was teaching us that the trigeminal nerve, which is the nerve that supplies the whole face, was actually developed for us as, not Neanderthals, but as earlier civilizations. If we fell into icy cold water, the trigeminal nerve would very quickly act to slow down the heart rate, to slow down every system in your body, to calm you right down so that you could survive longer under the freezing water. So the way we can trigger the trigeminal nerve to calm us all down is to face plant in ice water. Now, it's not an easy thing to do at work, given, but it's something you can do at home. And I happened to learn this around February and went into a dollar store and there was a heart-shaped plastic bowl. And I bought it, and it turns out it's a perfect shape for face planting. So all you do, you just fill the bowl with water, chuck a whole lot of ice cubes in it so it's really cold, and then you literally face plant. Dunk your face in up to here and count, if you can, to 30. And stay as long as you can in the water until you get to 30, right? Sometimes you can only do 3 or 4 seconds. But if you keep persevering, honestly, it's the most fantastic technique. So I know it's not something most people would do, but it's really effective. And I did it quite a lot when I first arrived in Virginia Beach and Charlottesville. Now, the third S was, I don't know if I said this on the day, but it was about the story you're telling yourself and the stories and how you can change it. And then, because it was so good, I did it with the group the next day, and they came up with this one, start. And I thought that was terrific, because you learned a lot during that fabulous RV event, and those beautiful women putting it on. But start doing some of those things. Start putting into practice some of the things you've learned. Make sure you keep in contact with your joy buddy, or find 2 other joy buddies that you use as mentors and accountability buddies. Tell them what you're going to do differently and then have them hold you accountable. But start doing something different. And then, did I come up with another S? Oh, yeah. It was safe. So create safety for yourself and be in charge of your own safety, because really no one else can be. I learned that the hard way, and I think we talked about that. And I'm getting better at it. I'd love to say I'm 100% safe all the time, but I'm way, way better than I was because I started taking action. So think about safety. Think about how safe you feel and what you can do to help yourself feel more safe. And then we did, nearly done, the A, B, and C of putting more joy into your life, of finding your voice and using it. Because really, you've all got a voice and you know it. It's just feeling good about yourself that allows you to tap into your knowing and then to express yourself without fear. Because that's the thing that stops you finding your voice and stops you expressing it. It's fear. So we can work out the fears. Often it's that not good enough one too, just a tip. So A was to use your AI, awareness inside. Because that's a secret skill. You know, the Bible says, know thyself, I don't know how many, lots of times. And all the leadership journals that you read, HBR, Forbes, Inc., all of those, they all talk about self-awareness being one of the most important leadership skills to develop. And also acknowledgement. Remember, everybody wants to be acknowledged. That says acknowledgement. Because if the most important thing in life is how you feel about yourself, the number one thing that people want is to feel good about themselves, which they do when you give them acknowledgement. So that was ta-da! And by the way, ta-da, you all deserve a ta-da. You did a great job the other day. You're a wonderful group. Thank you. The B stood for be present. Because whenever you've got fear, you can guarantee you're either in the future or in the past. And you'll have fear in the present if you're in a dark alleyway and somebody's got a knife behind you. You know, that's a good time. Run, be fearful. That's a good spot to be fearful. But the rest of the fear is usually past or present based, and that neither of them are in the present moment. And you have everything you need in the present moment if you tap into it. Breathe was the other big B. So I just talked about breathing. So in there, 2 big breaths. It's always 2 big breaths. Face plant doesn't start with a B, but I could say be a face planter. How's that? Be a face planter. And then the last B, was be grateful. Remember, put your gratitude glasses on. And that says be grateful. I haven't got much time. Put your gratitude glasses on and keep them on. And begin all your staff meetings with what's the thing you're most grateful for today. Have dinner table events where everyone has to answer the question every night, what's the thing you're most grateful for that happened today? Because it really does transform things. And then the C was to care for yourself. Yes, care for others, but care for yourself first. It's like the oxygen mask in the plane. If you were the kid, what do they tell you to do? Put it on yourself first. Why? Because if you're dead, you're useless to the child. So it's really important. You know, you sometimes walk around going, huge breath in and all the way out without spitting on people. And connect. It's really important to connect to yourself as well as other people and connect heart to heart. Remember, our heart field goes 6 feet out from the body. And so that 6 feet, anybody within that 6 feet radius, they are influenced by your heart as you are by theirs. So get connected to yourself so you can connect more effectively to other people. And connecting to yourself happens when you're still, when you are observing your thoughts, when you're observing how you're feeling. And be curious. It makes you very popular being curious. Be curious about yourself, curious about your life, curious about others. When you're interested in other people, they think you are fascinating. It's the secret to popularity, but we didn't get time to cover that. Anyway, so the last C is for you to consciously choose. Because remember, we're making choices all the time, and if 95 to 99% of the time we're literally unconscious of what we're thinking, then we're making unconscious choices all the time, aren't we? So consciously choose joy. Consciously choose with every issue or challenge you have to find opportunity in it or to see it as an opportunity. Consciously choose that. And consciously choose to be positive no matter what seems to be going on, and tell yourself that this is happening for a reason and then look for the reason. Ask the problem. What is it that you're trying to teach me? I know that sounds a bit odd, but I just learned this myself the other day and it's very effective. If you feel like you've got a problem or an issue, you kind of stop, be still, and tune in to the issue or the problem and ask it, what are you trying to teach me? And I thought that'd be a bit of a silly exercise really, but I tried it and I was astonished. It was really good. So give it a try. So you've got the ABC now, a bit less rushed than I did before, and the triple S, the SSS techniques. And I couldn't cover everything I did in the time we were together, but I had a wonderful time with you, and I hope the stuff was useful. And go forth and zoot, 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 zoot from my heart to yours. And I hope this was helpful. Bye, guys.